We're also following a deadly shooting involving Pinellas County deputies in Safety Harbor. Today, Clearwater Police released new information and dramatic video in the case. 10 Tampa Bay's Eric Glasser is live at Clearwater PD. And Eric, we just found out the guy they shot and killed had a BB gun, but the task force says, look, these deputies did everything right.
Absolutely, Courtney. And the reason, by the way, that we're at Clearwater PD is because this is the agency that is leading the investigation into that deadly use of force. That's the task force that was formed back a couple of years ago. And yes, it involves that June 30th shooting that took place in Safety Harbor between 4 Pinellas deputies and a man by the name of Robert Hubbard. So today, we learned a lot more about Hubbard and the events leading up to this. They say Hubbard had been on a 2-day crime spree, including attempted robberies and carjackings. He had texted friends and family saying he was depressed, likely going to get into a confrontation with law enforcement. Video released today shows one Pinellas deputy using what's called a pit maneuver to get Hubbard to pull over. And then video from that deputy's dash cam and body cam show Hubbard immediately exiting his vehicle and pointing a weapon at deputies who then opened fire. It turns out, as you said, investigators now know that that was a BB gun that Hubbard was holding at the time, but they say there is no way that deputies could have known that at the time. In all, 4 deputies fired 59 shots. They say they still have more investigating to do, but at this point, Chief Dan Slaughter says he sees no reason why any of those deputies involved would face charges.
You know, I'm not here to villainize Mr. Hubbard either. I mean, he was a kid that's been depressed since he's 15 and unfortunately got dragged down in drugs and alcohol, and which further exaggerated the depression. And from doing this business long enough, I know there's a family behind that that's really struggling.
Pinellas Sheriff Bob Gaultieri was also at this morning's news conference. He says 3 of his 4 deputies are already back on the job, one still not feeling quite up to it at this point. But he says he is satisfied with the video that was shown today and other evidence presented, all pointing to what he said was pretty much, in his words, a textbook case of how things are supposed to go in these very unfortunate circumstances. The state attorney's office, by the way, is also conducting its own parallel investigation to this, looking at whether or not there would be any charges filed, whether or not this was a justifiable shooting. But again, Chief Dan Slaughter says at this point, with all of that video that they've been looking at, the text messages, the history, he believes at this point that there is no reason to believe that these Pinellas County deputies acted in any way that would warrant any charges. Reporting live in Clearwater, Eric Glasser, 10 Tampa Bay.